as you can tell, this shit sucks. But I guess it was a long time coming. It wasn't anything that, was unexpected to some degree. I guess a little background on this is since 2018, I've dislocated my shoulder probably 9 times, 8 or 9 times. And all the stories except the very first one are extremely lame. The first one was really just cliff jumping in Colorado. So that's a pretty cool one. But the rest are sports related or on the L in Chicago, which if you've been on the L, you're like, how the hell do you do that? But it's possible. And, the other ones just kind of suck. But what ended up happening was I got a surgery on a partially torn labrum and they fixed it up, got it all anchored and whatnot. And I'm in a sling for 4 weeks. So we are about a week and a half in right now. And I've had a lot of time to think, really just sitting on my couch, not doing too much, honestly. I've just been on Instagram, TikTok, and watching a lot of TV and movies. So I was spinning my wheels and thinking about how I could do something, how I could create something. And the easiest thing for me to create right now is going to be something like this, where it's my camera on a tripod and me just kind of talking to it. It's not going to be something that's as full blown as a No Names solo episode, but it's a shorter vlog. So stick around. Trust me, it'll be worth it. But it is, just me kind of getting my thoughts out. And we were kind of cleaning the kitchen today, I had an idea that this situation related so much to a lot that creators and just people in general go through. So I really think that this is something that a lot of people, even almost it's a vlog to myself of trusting the process. So if you didn't know, I am right-handed, and yeah, so that's really why this sucks. I can't shoot, I can't do really anything. So it's very easy for me to get frustrated when I'm unable to do something that normally would take me half a second to do. Now it takes me minutes to do something. And I'm lucky that, the recovery time with the sling is 4 weeks, and then I have PT included in that, but it was very easy, at least like the last couple days, really, for me to start getting really frustrated. The first 5 or 6, it wasn't as bad, but getting frustrated so easily has never been my nature. But this is something to where you're just not able to do things how you would normally do them. And it hit me that this is so relatable in the fact that you're gonna have to trust the process. I'm sitting here and I just know that I'm gonna get better. I know that the recovery is gonna go well, PT is gonna work, and things are gonna work themselves out. But in it sucks. And so you can imagine it's pretty easy for creators to really relate to this, because you can at times feel a lot of self-doubt. You can feel like you're not where you want to be. You're not even close to where you want to be, or you really just are feeling stuck, or it's taking longer to do things, or, a million other things. And you have to continuously tell yourself, trust the process. The hard part too is when you do fall into a trap of comparing yourself, is you're always going to look at where someone else is based on their creative path. They could have 10 years under their belt and you're still going to compare yourself to them when you've only got 2. So it's extremely hard to sometimes separate yourself from that. But you have to just know in the back of your mind that things will work themselves out as long as you put in the time. Similar to my situation, I have to go through the time period of waiting and then putting in the work with PT. This relates to creators because you have to focus on your inputs. You have to put yourself in situations where you have the groundwork built. You just have to continue to step up, continue to be there, continue to chip away at the block that is the process. And just know at the end of it that it's all going to work out. It might not work out on the timeline that you want, and it might work even faster than you imagine. That's just the crazy part of it. But at the end of the day, what you have to do is trust the process and just know that if you're doing the best you can and you're putting in the time and the hours and the blood, the sweat, the tears, you're gonna work it out. And at times, yeah, you're probably gonna get frustrated. I get frustrated all the time, and it's usually just based on me not being able to do the things that I want to do in terms of creativity, or it's something that I have to learn. But if I'm on a tight turnaround for a project, I don't necessarily have the time to learn those things. And I think this relates to so many things other than just being creative. But obviously, for me, it's easy to explain it that way. In life, you have to just know that if you're putting in the time and the effort of chasing the person that you want to be, that it will eventually work itself out. Now, this also might relate to gaining client work. It might relate to trying to land projects that you've always wanted to, and you're just not quite sure how to get there, but you're not doing anything for it. That's the biggest trap that you can fall into, is doing very little and expecting the most. And you just have to focus solely on your inputs sometimes. You have to just know what reps you're putting in and just keep your head down and work. And I think sometimes I honestly am just talking to myself here, to where I know that I say all these things and, sometimes you just, you don't even listen to yourself. And it's definitely tough, but I'm super excited to actually be filming something. This is the first time I've really gotten I've put normal pants on and not just joggers. So I'm finally getting out of the house. It took a week for me to leave my apartment, and it was fine. I mean, recovering and everything has its pluses. I had to take PTO for surgery, but I was able to sit here and watch a lot of movies, watch a lot of TV, but also just makes everything way harder when you're using your non-dominant hand and you don't have access to your dominant hand. So this is really all I can really shoot right now. And if you saw me trying to eat anything at all right now besides something handheld, you would just be like, oh my God, this dude's just figuring it out. But trust me, I'm using a spoon for just about everything. So spoons and bowls, baby. But I don't want to ramble on and just make this longer than it needs to be. But this is just not only me talking to myself, but me putting a message out there for creators and people in general who feel like they're stuck, that you have to trust the process and see yourself chasing future you, the life that you want to live, the projects that you want to do, the person that you want to be. What characteristics make up that person? And you have to be putting in the reps every day to essentially get yourself there. And it doesn't have to be all at once. That's the misconception of it all. You're not going to get through everything all at once. You're going to have to go through a lot of struggles on one area before you get good at it. And then you're going to have to move on to the next one. There's going to be struggles there, and then you're going to struggle on the other thing. But if you just keep chipping away at it and do, 1% every day, is a saying, you will see so much growth in a year. And a year sounds like a lot right now, but if you think of your life, a year is nothing. I guess this is just a message to anyone who feels stuck. It's just put in those reps, the time, the effort that needs to be there, and trust me, it'll get there. It really is just you against you at the end of the day. I could keep going. I could talk about a lot of other things, but if you watch this and, you're tuning in regularly, I start seeing a lot of names in the comments, even though most of them are my friends. Starting to see new names in the comments, but they're continuously being there. So thank you. And if you're just tuning in, this is your first one, check out some other videos, subscribe to the channel, give it a comment. And if there's anything you want to see in future videos, when I'm not in a sling, drop it down below, or, reach out to me on Instagram with any questions. And if you are finding me on YouTube and don't follow me on Instagram, and you go and follow me on Instagram, let me know that you came from YouTube, because that is some of the coolest shit. So thank you to those people. You know who you are. But I'm very excited to finally be creating after a week and a half. And this will be the first vlog on the channel since prior to Banff. So that project's coming along too. I just can barely edit right now. So I'll see you in the next one, and I'll catch you later. Peace.